What's up, YouTube family and Browns fans everywhere? This is Cleveland Football, and I'm your host, Terrence Hudson. Okay, it's good to be back. Also got some new news. We got championship week, head coaching hire. So it's a lot to talk about today. But before I get into that, something I haven't said before, but I just wanted to throw it out there that I do my best not to watch any of the morning shows as far as sports, whether it be First Things First or First Take. When it comes to the Browns, I watch the shows, but if they're doing a Browns take and it's something that I want to give a take on, I won't watch the segment. I won't watch the segment until after I film. After I do mine, then I'll watch, whether it be, Undisputed or whatever, Cowherd or whatever. So I tend to wait, I do mine. And then if it's a segment about the Browns I want to watch, then I'll watch it afterwards. Because I never want nobody to say, oh, he said the same thing, such and such said, or he said the same thing, this or that person said. And if it just so happens that, somebody say the same thing that I said, it's just pure coincidence, Just because I said it, that don't mean that, or whoever else said it, that don't mean that it's right. Even though most of the time I'm probably most on the coaches of that right side. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there in case people was wondering. Yeah, I don't watch until after, I film my Browns take if it's something that I want to talk about. But let's hop into this now, though. We saw that the Cleveland Browns have hired a new head coach, one Kevin Stefanski. He's 18th coach of the Cleveland Browns and our 10th coach since 1999. He's coming over from Minnesota, where he held the offensive coordinator position. He's been at Minnesota for a long time. He's been in Minnesota for 14 years he was in Minnesota? But he's a young guy. He's only 37 years old. 37 years old. And that's young. NFL head coach. And I know that tends to be the trend lately. We saw we see McVay up in Los Angeles. We see the guy down in Cincinnati. So it's a lot of young guys. The Dolphins. So, what Keith Sweat say? You may be young, but you're ready to learn. Hey, y'all young as y'all don't know about that. You gotta look it up, Keep Sweat. But yeah, he young, but that don't mean, he not ready. So, but I don't know. It's still a lot of questions out there, though. He spent 1 year as a little over a year, I guess, as a coordinator. And I'm pulling for him, I'm pulling for him. But it's still a lot remains to be seen. Can he build a staff? Can he build a staff? How will he relate to players? Because it's different. It's different when you are a head coach than when you are a coordinator. Because it's more than just the offense that you got to pay attention to. You got defense, you got special teams, you got player personnel, and you're dealing with personalities. You're dealing with other coaches. So, it remains to be seen. He's from UPenn. He's an Ivy League guy. I'd say a brilliant football mind. He's an Ivy League guy. And one thing that I noticed about the Cleveland Browns when it comes to that, we over the last 4 or 5 years have hired more guys from the Ivy League. The Harvards, UPenn, the Princetons, Yale, particularly Harvard too. More guys from the Ivy League than any other team in the league. A lot of analytic guys. Looking at the analytics. What does the numbers tell us? Predictive analytics. I talk a little bit about that. I try not to bore you with that because I'm into it as well. But I think it's you have to be careful when you're talking about analytics. And then we getting all these guys, all the Ivy League guys, and I hope it's just not, because of where a guy is from. Like, oh, okay, then he getting the nod. Harvard, class of '89. And then, oh, you out, man. Like, You got to do your due diligence. And I get it. I get it. Harvard's an outstanding institution, brought us some of our greatest minds in politics, economics, education, scholars. I get that. I myself was been blessed to go to college. I understand the value of a good education. I do. I spent I spent 5 years getting my bachelor's degree. It took me a while. A red shirt. I was super senior. I spent 1 year getting my master's, and then another 5 years getting my doctorate. So I get that. I understand. That having that education background. But when I go into an interview, or if I'm going into a job, I got to bring it. I got to be able to show this is what I've done, this is what I've led, this is what I can bring to the table, and it's gonna take more than just me coming in there with my degrees. So I'm hoping we do our due diligence and we looking at guys and we getting guys in there, based on, hey, this is his guy background, this is his track record. You got these references, all that, because I know when I go in them interviews, that's what I have to bring in there with me. We talk about the analytics. We saw that Paul DePodesta, Chief Strategy Officer for the Browns, he led the search. He's a baseball guy. We had some baseball guys in there in the past. When you talk about the analytics and those things, Sashi Brown, and who was that other guy we had in there? We talking about bringing Andrew Berry in as a GM. Another Harvard guy. Like, man, these guys are taking over. But you have to be careful when we talking about analytics, because a lot of times you look at these things and you can overthink. I can see when you're talking about tendencies and plays within, play calling and play design and things like that within the game. But my concern is more so when you talk about player personnel, when you talk about what's called, predictive analytics, trying to predict outcomes of, how a guy will be. It can be dangerous because it's so many unknown factors, that goes into these equations. You got all these measurables, you got all these things, your 40, your bench press, but looking at all these different things, and I want to look at, can a guy block? Can he tackle? Can he run? Is he smart? Can he think on his feet? And a lot of things you see on film. And then there's some things that the numbers can't measure, that the analytics can't measure, things such as heart or resiliency, or what they call grit, So when you talk about player personnel, you talk about predictive analytics, you get all this information. We got so much access to information now. We can look at so many different things based on, if a guy's on the right hash and how many times he throws a 6-yard out and how many times it's completed and who it's going to be. You're looking at all these different things, and sometimes we just need to simplify the game, man. Can this guy run? Can he hit? Can he tackle? Man, give me a chance. Let me get my foot in the door in there with some player personnel. But Kevin Stefanski has been hired, and Minnesota didn't do bad last year. They were 16th in total offense, 23rd in pass, 6th in running. That's what I like about him. He runs the football. They ran the football. Dalvin Cook bust up. He had over 1,100 yards, and he missed some games. He missed some time. So, and we got 2 horses back there. We got Chubb and Hunt. Man, we should be pounding guys in the ground and coming back with play action. It shouldn't even be fair. It really shouldn't. And if you look at Kirk Cousins this year, he took care of the football, 26 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. And he won a big time playoff game on the road, down there in New Orleans. So I like what we have. So I'm hoping that, he could be able to put all this together, both sides of the ball. There's still some questions on defense. Do we keep Wilkes? What's happening? I don't know where he at right now. Or do we go out and we get somebody else? So that's where I'm at with the Browns. It sounds like, they actually wanted him last year and couldn't get him, but they was able to get him this year. So we went young, still relatively young as a coordinator. He only had 1 year. Does he play in the call plays this year with the Browns? Who knows? A lot remains to be seen. So catching up with the playoffs, championship week, we see Green Bay squeak past again. I hope San Francisco beat the dog. I hope San Francisco, man, because Green Bay done got a lot of help this year, for real. Like, they the most, like the 13-3. I'm like, how they went 13-3, but every, they say the ball bounced your way. For them, the flag bounced their way a lot, meaning against the other team. So, that's the thing. But I think San Francisco should beat them. It'll be close, but I give Frisco the nod. And then on the other side, the AFC side, man, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Derrick Henry run the ball a good 45 times next week just to eat up the clock and keep Mahomes off the field. The Chiefs, woo, Chiefs down by, 24 and go up down by 20, you end up winning by 20? That's crazy. So that'll be a classic Clash of the Titans run. Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans and Chiefs. Run versus passing team. I think the Chiefs defense is a little bit better than they're given credit for, and because they'll get out the quarterback when they need to, and Tyrann Mathieu back there playing. So looking forward to a classic matchup there. I give Chiefs the edge in that one. I just think it'll be too much for the Titans to overcome. They're gonna have to score more than 20 points. So, they might rise to the occasion. But yeah, that's my take. Browns, new coach. I'm okay with it. It's hard to just dive fully in with so many questions. He has my support, yes. But it's hard to just dive in when there's a lot of questions to be answered. So that's why I don't want to go too far out on the limb one way or the other. Give him a chance. Shoot, I would say you give Gabe Kitchens a chance. I always want to give a guy 2 years, but we know that just wasn't gonna happen our last go around. So this time, let's see. Sign a 5-year deal. Let's see if we can make it all the way through. All right, but that's my take on the Browns. Update with the new head coach and the offense or in the NFL playoffs. So, if you hit the like button. Be sure to comment. Be sure to share. And be sure to subscribe.